What is up, everybody? Brent Abel here, goldballhunting.com. That dude over there is Jeff Jacklich. And Jeff and I today want to talk with you guys about the tiebreaker, and specifically about the mindset to be able to try to win as many tiebreakers as possible. We're going to actually work through three things today: pre-tiebreak, during the tiebreaker, and then actually during that side change. So there's three parts that we really want to kind of focus on. Jeff, before we do that, one thing I want to mention to everybody is that we've are offering a free 15-minute coaching call to anyone who is in need of one thing in their game right now that could be a little thorn in the side, that
hiccup,
a little hiccup that you just can't quite figure out. And if you could figure it out, you might start getting that result you want, whether it's either in singles or doubles. If you're not already on our email list, go over to goldballhunting.com, drop in a first name and email address, and you'll get a couple of cool things. Number one, you will get access to our online calendar scheduler, where you can cherry pick a date and time that works best for you. But you also get access to this free video. It is private. Jeff and I recorded months ago about how to reduce your skill level range, so that every day when you go out there, you know confidently you're going to be able to play at the top of your skill level day in and day out. So Jeff, let's talk about the tiebreaker mindset, the mentality, and the first part I want to talk about is pre-TB, right? Pre-tiebreaker,
right.
And whether it's singles or doubles, let's say that you're either serving at 5-6, you know that I got to get into the breaker. That's because if I don't,
Right.
I'm going to lose a set, or I'm going to lose a match. Or let's say you're serving at 6-5, right? You're up a break. You just broke at 5-all.
Right.
And then the other side of the coin is that you return and serve, and either you got to break this guy or this team because they're serving at 6-5, or you're trying to break them at 5-6 to see if you can't close out the set. So what's the danger that we can get into, Jeff, at that moment? We're in the 12th game. It's either 6-5 or 5-6. We haven't gotten the breaker
Right.
yet. But what is the danger thinking that we can get ourselves into at that moment?
I think that the first danger is thinking that now I have to play better.
Oh,
I've got to. But again, here I am. It's 5-6, 6-5. Going either way, and you've clawed your way into it. How's the match going so far? You know what I mean? I mean, so the idea that all of a sudden I'm going to have to step up my game is just it's so much undue pressure extra,
right,
that you're putting on, that now you're taking the focus off the fact that there's another guy across the net, and maybe I should hand him some of the pressure too, by making him have to hit the return, making him have to hit his first volley or his first groundie off of his serve,
right,
and finding that focus to get narrow about the impact of if I'm serving at 5-6 or I'm serving at 6-5. How many first serves can I make this game? So maybe the logic train should be a little bit more about, I'm going to make this guy have to touch the ball. I'm going to make him produce. He's going to have to pass me. He's going to have to come up with the goods. Too many times I see players just go completely off the rails, and again, they reach into the bag, and I want to pull out the howitzer on the first serve and literally waste 4 first serves out of the gate.
Right.
And now they're delivering a second serve, and it crumbles in front of them because they've elevated this idea that now's the time I'm going to count on the fact that I can hit 4 aces in a row.
Yeah, well, I know. I think that's great, because I think the bottom line is that we think we need to play better at that moment, and even if you've been. Even though, let's say you were up a break. Let's say you were serving at 5-4 and you coughed it up. And now the next thing you know is you've lost a couple games, and you're just hanging in there at 5-6, just thinking, worst possible thoughts. And look, that's the kiss of death right there. So, You don't have to close it out. You don't have to do anything greater. Certainly if you've lost a few games, well, let's say the last 2 or 3 games where you had a chance to win the set, is to me, I like to just kind of go to what you just suggested. If I'm serving, I want to go a high percentage of first serves. I want to go to the body because I don't want to go to the tee and set the guy up. Maybe I don't want to go out wide. And so I'm going to go to the body. I'm just going to serve to the body, and I'm not going to have to deal with a second serve, right?
Right.
So my confidence level, if I can serve to the body every time in that game, my confidence level stays here for the rest of the point. If I miss it, and then I got to go with a second serve, I've gone from here down to here. I'm starting the point off with low confidence. So I think that's a great point, is that as you're working your way to either that you get into the breaker because you're holding or you're breaking or whatever you're doing, is to make sure that you don't think, I got to play better. I got to do something I haven't done since 2011 when I was, 10 years younger and I could actually do some stuff, right? All right, so let's talk about the second part of this, which is once we get into the tiebreaker and especially the first point. And guys, if you're just joining us, hey, thank you. Just a quick reminder that we've got a 15-minute free coaching call for you guys if you want it, right? And all we're going to do is ask you to bring that one thing in your game right now. Could be singles, could be doubles, could be technique, could be tactics, could be mental, could be physical. But any of those 4 areas or whatever else is on your mind, but make sure it's one thing. And we'd love to get you on a 15-minute call. Private, just the 3 of us. And just go over to goalballhunting.com, drop in a first name and email address, and you will be able to schedule at your convenience a date and time that works best for you. So let's move on to part number 2 with this, Jeff, which is you're now in the breaker. Either you've just held or you're broken or you just broke or whatever you just did. But now it's the first point of the tiebreak. And how do you handle this? What's your mindset in terms of the tiebreaker? Once you're inside it, once you're playing the points, and you go ahead and give your opinion because I want to give mine about how I think about the very first point. Go ahead.
Right. Me personally, I like to be really clear about my task. If I'm serving the first point of the breaker, again, I go high percentage first serve. I may take a little pace off, kick her into the body, kick her out wide, whatever I feel is being, throughout that set, what has been working for me the best. What's my most confident serve that I can deliver right now that most of the time has teed me up for something good on the second shot. It's not about serve, I hope he misses. It's really about what's the combination that has been working that has really given me something to work with on the second ball. Whether it's a volley, whether I'm serving and volleying or serving and staying back, whatever it might be. So being clear on that. If it's the return, it's middle of the court. I'm like going, no, I got to make this guy touch the ball when he comes out of the serve. And this is no time again to reach into the bag for something you haven't seen in a while, in terms of what your skills, what your toolbox is. So I like to be very narrow in my thinking and get clear on what my task is going to be. So I'm just blinders on. Let's get that first task done and then move on in the point.
Yeah.
Because the ball itself, the ball you get is going to, if you've done your pattern work, the ball you get itself is going to you're going to immediately kick into gear as to what the proper pattern is for that ball.
Right.
Right. So anyway, so that's me.
Well, I think that's good, and I know for me too that the tiebreaker feels like a different level of intensity, a different level of pressure, because this is not like the old school where we could go on forever. I mean, we could do the Isner Mahut thing and go 70, 68, right? This has got an end, and it's coming up quickly. But when you think about it in the breaker, and I'm not talking about the super tiebreaker, but the regular tiebreaker, you got to win 7 points. right? So 7
Yeah.
points is actually is kind of a long. It's not like one game. It's not like you're playing.
No.
It's not like someone saying, "Well, it's 6-all. You guys play one game." I mean, it's not like the original tiebreaker, which was a 9-pointer, the first one to 5,
Right.
and if you got
Brutal.
to 4-all, it was sudden death. It
See you later.
See you later. Whoever wins this. So you talk about pressure, but this is still, you got to win by 2 points, right? So my feeling is don't look ahead into what might be somewhere down the road. I'm talking about playing the very first point and not
Right.
thinking that I have to win each and every point, because if I don't, this is going to be over like that. And that's just not the case, and it's certainly not the case
Right.
with a Super TB where you got to win 10 points. I
Right.
mean, we've seen that a lot where someone gets ahead or someone gets behind. That's not a guarantee. That's just not a guarantee. There's a lot of tennis left to play. So my point is I like to do exactly what you just said, is to really focus on how do I want to start this first point. And if I'm serving, just like you said, I got clarity. What's been working today? And some of that's a combination of, well, when I serve there, most of the time, I'm getting this ball back from the guy.
Right. Right. What kind of ball am I normally getting?
What am I getting? And then the next thing is, well, on today, maybe yesterday was differently, but on today, I'm really feeling better with this particular type of serve.
Right.
And not that I'm feeling better that if I get it in, it will not come back.
Right.
But that it's just, so it's kind of a combination of those two things for me. And then from, I just want to make sure I'm not thinking out in the future at all. I'm just focused on this point. All right, this point's over. It's done. Win or lose, it's done. Here comes the next point. And the next
Right.
point is, right, you got to give the balls back over there if you're serving, or now it's your turn to serve, because so that second point, you completely switch who's serving.
Right.
So it's interesting that how you get to that mindset of being able to play each point in the tiebreaker as if it's not the end of the world if you lose it.
Right.
And once I take that pressure off myself, then I start to get clarity about what I want to do, what my intention is to start it, and then once the ball comes back, what I'm going to do next with that ball.
Right.
All right, let's go into part 3, which is during the side change, right?
Yeah.
And there's always a side change, either with a Komen, obviously, or if
Yeah.
you're playing the regular TB, which is after every 6 points.
Every 6, right.
You still have to, even if you win 7-zip, there's still a side change.
It's a side change, right.
So
Plenty of time to go sideways.
plenty of time to outthink yourself on this. Before we get into it, guys, just a quick reminder on the free coaching call that Jeff and I are offering. 15 minutes, just the 3 of us. It's private, free. I mentioned no charge. Bring that one thing in your game that is kind of a little, God, it's just not working out. But anyway, we want to help put you on the right path. Just go to goalballhunting.com, drop in a first name and email address, and you can cherry pick a date and time that works best for you. So part 3 here, Jeff, is on the side change.
Yeah.
You just said, boy, is it ever possible to go sideways
Right.
during the side change? Because, well, go ahead. So
Yeah.
what do you like?
It can totally turn into dead man walking. You know what I mean? I mean, just
Well, and it can turn into dead man walking if you're up 5-1 in the breaker.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things, and this is a good habit to have anyway on your changeover, and that is visually. Don't let your eyes wander off court, up into the crowd, all that stuff. We are, our eyes that is the window into our soul, right? So the minute we get up in visual and something distracts us, our brain can't stop, right? It's just going to immediately, wonder where that car alarm's coming from. I wonder. So visually, you got to get your eyes focused, and that's why, the technique of looking at your racket strings is kind of, it's a closed environment. You keep the focus within the frame of the racket, look down, whatever technique works for you. But on this changeover in the breaker, it's really important that you stay contained, because you don't want the thoughts wandering. So that, again, I mentioned it before, but this is where it really can get away from you is, hey, that voice that's been quiet the whole match. Now all of a sudden,
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
Hey, man, don't forget about me.
Hey, I got this great idea. It's kind of like the, all the millions of YouTube videos that are, hey, I got this idea, hold my beer, right? And then it's just mayhem that ensues after that suggestion.
Right.
So it's like on that changeover, be clear, when you change over that you're aware of that, because it's going to happen. We all get it, right? I'm guilty. You're guilty. Everybody's guilty of having that thought of maybe I should do this. And that thought usually is about reaching into your toolbox and grabbing a tool that you haven't plugged in a year and a half. And maybe now's a good time to do it. So you haven't trained it, you haven't practiced it, you haven't even thought about it until right now. And that's when you need to have the discipline to say, no, right now I need to X, Y, or Z based on what's been the history of this set right now. Or maybe the history of the last few games. Something shifted a little bit. Maybe I made an adjustment in my game plan, and that seems to be paying off now as we get into the breaker. So it could be a new little adjustment. Not that I'm going for lines, but whatever it might be. So the idea is, like, on that changeover, don't allow yourself to get lost in thought about all the different options and possibilities you might have. Get narrow, get focused. Don't allow the time span to let your mind wander to ideas that are unproven, unpracticed, and
impossible.
Have no play. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look.
So anyway, that's.
Yeah, I think that's good, and I think the other thing to think about too is that, and I kind of jokingly said at the beginning of this, is that all right, you're changing sides and you're up 5-1. It's pretty easy to let your mind wander. Not on here's what's been working. Here are the plays that have been working. Here are the intentions to start each point that have been working, as opposed to, wow, I'm up 5-1. I'm up 5-1, and I mean, how can I possibly lose this now?
Right.
And you start thinking about all of the stuff that's going to happen when you finally win this tiebreaker, whether it's either, whether it's to win a set, or whether it's to get into a third set, or whether it's to win the match. There's a lot of things that you think about, and you just can't. I mean, for me, what I have to do is I have to really, what I do. I mean, I kind of go through this 4-part routine. I have I have to stretch that out for the side change, so that I stay focused. I stay in the now. I do not think ahead. And the only thing I think ahead is finally at the end of that side change is I go into what's my intention to start the point. Not what's my intention that's going to win this point, but what's my intention, because there's too many things that are out of my control. And I'm okay with that. I used to not be okay with that.
Right.
I used to think, well, I can't control this, I can't control that. It would sure be cool if the guy would just give me the rest of these 2 points and then I'll get the breaker. So that to me takes discipline, it takes practice. It's not like a light switch where you can, theoretically or intellectually kind of noodle on this and go, okay, well, next time I'm in a tiebreaker during the side change, I'm not going to do this, or this. I'm just going to do this. You got to practice this stuff. That's another benefit of practicing tiebreakers when you're out there, is that it does help you desensitize yourself to the extra pressure that we can feel when we get into a tiebreaker. Right. But it also gives you the opportunity, and you should be practicing tiebreakers where if you know that the next event coming up is a tournament or is a league match, and you know that they play Komen or they play regular, practice that one.
Practice it.
And practice how you want to be on that side change.
a Komen breaker, not to get off topic, but a Komen breaker can feel like another set.
Yeah.
There's that many points. Again, it takes, if it's a golden set, it takes 24 points to win a set, right? Golden set.
Right.
Well, Komen breaker that's tight and close and goes to 18-16. Guess what?
Yeah.
You just played an extra set.
Well, I think the Komen breaker, I think the big challenge there is that you're switching after the first point and then after every points thereafter. So you talk about you talk about a side change opportunity to go into some craziness.
Yeah. So it's just clarity again. We talk about that a lot. Is really where it's at, and it's also, I'll throw this in there too. It's not a time either that all of a sudden you find yourself up 5-1 like you said, and it's really easy to decide, okay, I'm going to go back to my warm fuzzy plan. Now I'm going to go with the cannon serve. Now I'm going to do, go for the. I'm going
to take charge.
Yeah.
I'm going to close this thing out on my terms.
And that coming back from that mental slip is really rough.
That's right. No, it's tough.
So, recognize what it is again, you've made a plan, you're out there, you're executing, keep executing. That whatever plan you come up with, it got you to 5-1. You should be aware of that. Again, this isn't just, keep doing what you're doing. This is an awareness of what the plan has been point by point. And let's stick with that. It got us to 5-1.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. Well, and I think all that, it gets boiled down to, what does this guy not want me to do?
Right.
Right. And it could be that your big forehand howitzer is just feeding the monster over there. He loves it.
Yeah.
Don't challenge it again, right? Let's just slide the next few things down.
Yeah.
And give him what he or she doesn't want. So, Well, Jeff, good stuff, man. So, guys, just a quick reminder on the free coaching call that Jeff and I are offering. It's a 15-minute coaching call, private, no charge. Three of us get on the phone and we chat about the one thing in your game right now that you'd like to clean up, and let Jeff and I kind of set you on the path to get the result you'd like to start getting instead. Go over to goldballhunting.com. Just drop in your first name and email address, and you'll get access to our calendar scheduler. You get to cherry pick a date and time that works best for you. Jeff, what do we want the fine folks to do right now?
We'd love you to, if you're on YouTube, like us, share us, please subscribe, let us know what you think down below. And if you're on Stitcher or iTunes, rate us and review, because we'd love to know what you think.
Absolutely. Guys, on that, get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Jeff, let's do this again tomorrow.
Can't wait.